A lot of y'all think of how depressed I am, cause ever since yesterday, when I was filming, like when I was practicing my he said literally like my transition school like makeup, because I was gonna practice it, but then ever since I literally felt so emotional, but I don't know why, but like maybe it's because I'm like changing. Maybe I'm like getting to the age that I can't handle it. But you know what? I kind of like realized that maybe I can't even express of how emotional I really get. And sometimes I'm either happy or sometimes it just feels like I'm either sad. But like I could totally feel of how I really am. But at the end of the day, I don't even know like what I can understand about, because like the fact that I am depressed and like people can't feel that way for who I am. But like at the end of the day, like if I am literally depressed about something, it's either like if I go through a breakup or if I go through like a friend breakup, then you already know how hard it is for me. Because one thing is like reason why that I feel depressed is because of my parents going through the separation, and you guys are like whatever happened to your parents, and then like what really happened. The thing is, my parents, they are separate apart, and like I did say in another video once in April, which I did post, and the truth was that my parents were never married. They never got engaged. But the thing is that my mom kind of like regretted dating my dad in the past. But overall, like, it was something that I've dealt with since I was a little girl. And like when I was little, I went through a really bad tough situation between my mom and my dad. And one thing that was hard on me when I was little was that I had to be separate apart from my dad, but not from my mom, because I felt like that if I would go away from my dad, and one thing is, my mom did keep me away from my dad for over a day when I was little, and I was able to spend time with him before we became separate apart. But that was when I was little, because I was probably 8 years old or 9 years old before I was separate apart from my parents. So I basically lived with my mom throughout the whole life when I was 9 years old. So I wasn't able to see my dad no more when I was little, because I mean, like, I was only with my dad for like ever when I was little. And then over time, it became like that I'm not meant to be long distance. But like before my dad never came back in my life, I realized that I wasn't the only one not being alone. Because one of you guys not know about me was that my dad is not allowed not to be my grandpa, because people locate think that like it's best for my safety of how I became distant. Like it was an opportunity, because like at the end of the day I could defend my grandpa, but sometimes it's just like I go through a hard depression of what I go through right now. And sometimes it's like maybe you can't feel depressed of what you can't feel like. But like I don't really care about everything that happened. Like the only I only care about is my grandpa, but sometimes my grandpa he parties too much, which I literally hate. And I would never talk about any of it, because I would never excruciate it for anyone that goes through a tough depression. And I mean, we already know what happens in life. And if you guys think that people go through depressions like this, I mean, like, people low-key think that my depression is like not making me feel like the way I can't feel. Like, I totally know that, like, if I'm either sad or if I go through a breakup, then I already know how I'm gonna feel. But like, sometimes I want to be like talking to my friends and I could express how I feel. I never tell any of my friends how I feel, but like the fact that I would only tell my girly girls that how I feel, and like they can express my feelings. But like when some people can express my feelings, like people actually like respect my feelings, like even if someone did hurt me really bad, and people would tell me how I want to feel. Like, I mean, there are that, like, I would tell anyone how I really feel. And, like, even if, like, my friend told me that if she felt sad, they know what I'll be doing. I'll be the one making her happy. I would tell her that, like, like, we already know what we already know, like, what really happens in life. And, like, who could really stand up? I can stand up for anyone. Even for my friends. I can stand up for them, but not for someone who doesn't really agree with something that I went through in the past. But like honestly, like before I became such a part for my dad, it's too hard to think about it because it's too many details that I can't talk about because I can't talk about it of what really happened because I never started thinking about it until I didn't. So I'm not gonna give any details about my dad, so that is not gonna happen because it's too much to think about. But for my grandpa, I can't give anything like that, so it's not gonna really happen. But for my grandma, I mean, like, my grandma didn't really approve my dad, but then my grandpa, he became so strict, and then my dad became that way. I mean, like, ever since my grandma was alive, I can't believe that she, like, even though my grandma didn't really care about this family, she cared about her blessing. But I mean, sometimes I just feels like I miss my grandma, and I wish that she was still here with me to just calm me down if we had this kind of opportunity to like get through it together. Cause like sometimes I miss my grandma. It's like that if I'm over here missing her, and yes, before I didn't think that. You guys did not know that my grandma had passed away when I was just 16 years old. So that happened like my sophomore year. And it was really hard. I was sad. I was crying. And I didn't want to really film about the funeral because it would be a little too much. And it'd be sad. And then I'd be the one feeling sad. And then I'd be the one crying. And you know what? Like even if I was the one crying, then at the end of the day, like I'd be the one crying. Like I mean, like I think about my grandma, I feel like I'm sad, or if I'm either like feeling with the person who I am. But like it's a big difference of how I really am. Like if there was one option I would literally do, I would see my grandma in heaven. I would imagine all the times we spent time together. And like for all the time we shared together was like something we had. She was my angel, and now that she still is, I mean, she's always been my angel forever. So I think about her, and I know that she cared about me. She cared about everyone in the family, and it was something that she had a good thing and like. But I think about her, and I think about all these memories we shared together. And like we would share all these memories we had like in the time. But I don't know, maybe I don't feel this way, but like if you guys already know, I feel that way for you guys. And but I am definitely excited for transition school, but also nervous. But stay tuned for the Get Ready With Me. That's gonna be posted on Tuesday of this week. So yeah, I'm gonna post it on Tuesday for you guys. Stay tuned for that.